driving in the drive-through lane at Wendy's, scrounging in the center console of my car for some nickels so I could buy a junior cheeseburger from the value meal. And I'm doing this now, and I stopped, and I literally said, "Look at you, Corwin. Look at you." And I felt like just a total failure. I let my wife down. She's like, we're struggling.
Tell me how God came through. How did he come through in that moment?
Well, it wasn't like right away. We didn't get any magic envelopes in the mail, but over time, God replenished most of our accounts over time. I look back, I'm like, it's a miracle. We never went hungry. We never were homeless. We just kind of worked out in some way. So I'm like, okay, now what? Now what? I'm an econ major, and I had no plans to do anything with economics. I couldn't stand it, but I just stuck with it. But didn't know what to do. Moved in with my roommate, my college roommate. He was married.
That was the end of
A year out. Oh, okay. I'll speed it up. Lived in with him for a month, trying to figure out my life. That's when Dex calls.
Were you still training that month?
Yeah, I was working.
So you were staying in the States. Did you have hopes? Were you trying to get back?
It was. I knew my agent was going to just see what's available, and I knew that's a possibility. And a month later, the Jets called and said, we just signed you. And I literally got a call from...
They signed you. They called you and told you, we signed you.
Oh, dude, it's worse than that. They said, we just signed you. This is 8 o'clock in the morning in LA. We just signed you. Your plane leaves at 10. Don't be late. Click. I called my agent. What in the world? Yeah, you better get to the airport. So I packed up everything I could as quick as I could and wrote a note for my roommate saying, move to New York, And for 2 hours, I was on the plane. So.
They signed you. They signed you with your agent.
2 hours.
You don't even know the terms or anything. It's just standard, I guess. And then they book a ticket for you. And then hey, has anyone pulled him? Well,
I know. I'm like, what in the world?
And they told you, not your agent.
Yeah, they called and said, 2 hours. Plane's gonna leave. Be on it.
Okay.
I wasn't a top athlete, okay? So they treat me a little differently than others. So I finished out that year with them.
You're not on the practice squad?
I'm on the practice squad.
You're on the practice squad.
Yeah.
Okay.
And just finishing out, it was great. They re-signed me. The head coach was Bruce Coughlin at that time. And he said, Corwin, we see you as our go-to guy this year. We want to re-sign you. We want to bring you back. We see you as our go-to.
Are you playing a tight end?
I'm a tight end.
Okay. Are you undersized? Because tight ends are big.
I was a receiving tight end.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're not one of those guys that fly on over,
No. I was like a Shannon Sharp type, not as good as him, obviously, but linebackers can't cover fast tight ends. DBs can't cover.
Because the linebackers you're faster than the linebackers.
After your linebackers, and you're bigger than the DBs, so you can, like a basketball, your body position.
Yeah.
That's why.
Oh, man.
That's why, like Travis Kelce can get open against fast DBs who are twice as fast as him. How to position your body, right? So when he said those words to me, of course, I'm like excited, young, rookie, almost a rookie tight end, and he said I could be their go-to guy. Wow, that's great. 2 months later, the draft happened. Their first round pick was a tight end. Okay. With the same skills that I have. Fast guy, great hands, young. He was only a sophomore in college. So he came out early. And so I'm like, the writing's on the wall. Called my coach. Oh, don't worry about it. Before I could say a word, he was like trying to comfort me. You'll be okay, da-da-da. Then they go and sign 2 more tight ends. These are bigger guys. He can block. So I'm like, it's not looking good. Sure enough, after the first preseason game, they traded me to Green Bay. That's how I ended up there for the end of my career.
Okay, how long were you at Green Bay then?
A month and a half. Okay, and that's then my career ended. So I got my pinky toe wet. That's what I tell folks.
So how you were in there? How many years total?
Years? Well, you pick up on that.
What?
Try 14 months.
Okay, so over a year. Okay. So you had almost the whole season. You had almost the whole season with the Jets. Okay.
Yeah. Half the season with the Jets, and then all the off season with the Jets, just in camp in Green Bay. So the random year,
It's just a business. They're covering their bases. He's thinking we need tight ends. So I want, if I go to Corwin, he wants some optimistic. So if I let him down, that's on him. But okay.
So anyway.
And then when did you go in with Athletes in Action? So you've had the amazing experience.
Career ended.
The average NFL player is in how long?
3 years is the average for NFL careers. Short career, yeah. At the average 3. So, the really neat thing about that, though, Ted, is after my career ended, I stayed connected with Athletes in Action, the sports ministry. They had chaplains serving across the NFL and colleges and in like 90 countries now around the world.
Yeah.
And I would still do speaking with them, sharing my testimony, all that. And in 2000, I was working for Promise Keepers. I was out in Denver. I worked there for 4 years. And in 2000, AIA called. They said the Dolphins are looking for a chaplain. We'd like to recommend you guys. And I'm like, Florida? I'm from Cali. I'm living in Denver. Also, that's the farthest east I thought I would ever go. Florida was a foreign country to me, and I wasn't looking for it. My wife even said, why are we even taking a trip to we're wasting their money, because I agreed to at least visit it and check it out and consider it. So we prayed together, my wife and I, on the plane. And then my wife prayed for some specific things just for God to make it clear in some ways. And at the end of that visit, God had made it so clear, Ted, that he was calling us to become missionaries, join AIA, and go serve the Dolphins.
Now, when you become missionaries, is it like you're responsible to raise your own support?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so it's an opportunity, but then you got to go leverage the outrage support. How had you been with Promise Keepers? Were you on staff?
Yeah, you're a missionary. No, Promise Keepers was a paid job for us. Yeah. Very well.
Yeah, we've been doing that our whole career. Interesting. So how is that? How's that journey been?
I don't know if you have enough time for that journey, bro. It's been. God has used it to stretch us, shape us, introduce us to some of the most amazing people. And that is reason enough for me to be grateful for having to raise support. Getting to raise support is really how I could put that. But there were times when it was like, what are we doing? What are we thinking? I remember when I left the Dolphins and transitioned to a leadership role and no longer the Dolphins chaplain, a lot of our supporters dropped off, and they were Dolphin
fans.
And it was like, come on, they're the Dolphins. You're in Ohio now,
That's hilarious.
I know. I took a promotion. I was the calling. I'm still doing it, but 60% was gone.
Okay.
And I'm driving through our new location in Xenia, driving in the drive-through lane at Wendy's, scrounging in the center console of my car for some nickels so I could buy a junior cheeseburger from the value meal. And I'm doing this, and I stopped, and I literally said, look at you, Corwin. Look at you. And I felt like just a total failure. I let my wife down. She's like, we're struggling for that,
How old are you at the time?
Man, that was in 2011.
Do you have kids?
2 boys. Yeah.
How old are they at the time?
Junior high and high school. Yeah.
So missionary. You're a social. You're a social entrepreneur.
Yeah.
You're an entrepreneur. you're figuring out a way to do something, but you're not optimizing for wealth and return. You're optimizing for impact. It's a beautiful thing. Yeah, it's challenging though. I've been there. You've done that, but yeah, also it stretches you. But well, tell me how God came through. How did He come through in that moment?
Well, it wasn't like right away. We didn't get any magic envelopes in the mail, but over time, God replenished most of our accounts over time. And we never, it feels like I look back, I'm like, it's a miracle. We never went hungry. We never were homeless. We didn't, have bill collectors calling us. We just kind of worked out in some way. There were probably some moments I can't remember right now where a gift would show up in our account that we didn't expect. But yeah, we're still in that mode now. It's not over.
You just raised the stakes now. You want to talk about well, first of all, before we go on and talk about the All-Star, the Super Bowl breakfast. So you were 14 months in the NFL. Were you ever on the field in a game? Or
Preseason.
Preseason. Okay, give me one of your highlights. You're on the field. Tell me one of the top plays.
I can always, there's not very many, bro. When
You catch any passes? Did you ever score? Did you score? No, didn't score.
No, I didn't score.
I got some first downs though, right?
I don't know, man. If you ever a long time ago, come on now.
Give me one of the
battles. 20 years ago or more. I remember going over the middle. Jim Everett was our quarterback with the Rams.
Okay.
And ran a little dig route underneath the linebackers, and he threw it out right in front of us. Ernie Sampisi was the offensive coordinator. Only old guys remember him, but he was a legend. And I remember having to just stretch out. I snagged it with one hand, right, and brought it in. It was a hard catch. The ball was coming pretty fast. And for some reason, his affirmation has stuck with me all these years. We're watching the film. Again, I'm a practice squad guy. I'm, not starting, obviously. And I'm in the game in the last quarter. And during film work, he pauses and says, "Wow, great catch, Corwin."
That was the coach or the quarterback?
Coach. I was the coach, our offensive coordinator. And I'm like, "Thank you." And that was it. That's really, I do remember playing in the Hall of Fame game.
Okay.
That was when I was with the Jets. Reggie White was still with the Eagles. I was tight end. I was praying that they would not line me up opposite Reggie White. And sure enough, they called the play, and thank the Lord, they had me on the left side when he was on the right side. So, but after the game, we all met at the 50. The prayers, it wouldn't come together. And I remember just sitting next to him and grabbing his hand. And I looked up to him, obviously, as a believer. I mean, the faster he was. And I just say, "Man, I really appreciate you, So it was a sweet moment. So we miss him. We miss him dearly. So those like two memories in game time stuff.
So that's so cool. I mean, it's, if you're not in it, you don't realize like for you to go play at UCLA, you're like top 0.01% or less than that, that is so hard to play at UCLA. And then it's only the very, very best of that make it to the next level. Yeah. Cool. So let's talk about the breakfast, the Super Bowl breakfast. Sure. This has been going on for how long?
38 years. 38 years. It's a wonderful event. We
more than half the time of AIA.
My time?
No, AIA has been going on.
Oh yeah,
going to be 66
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll be 60 years old next year.
So it's 66. So you're 7 years away from being exactly half the time.
Yeah.
So wait, no.
No, yeah.
No, it's gone. You're several years past. You got to go back is half the time. So you've been more than half the time. Yeah. Okay, so 38 years. So I was a math major, but that was a long time ago. I screwed down to 11. So.
Well, we've been blessed, really fortunate, favor of God, really what it is, to hold one of only 3 events that are actually sanctioned by the NFL every year for the past 38 years.
Okay.
Sanctioning just means the NFL allows us legal use of the Super Bowl logo.
Okay.
So we create our Super Bowl breakfast logo, incorporating the official Super Bowl logo into our big logo. They also assign us a venue, the NFL. Assign us a venue. We'll be at the Marriott Marquis downtown San Francisco. Okay, it's essentially, San Francisco. That's the NFL headquarters hotel. And they also do some marketing for us for the breakfast. The other 2 sanctioned events are the Taste of the NFL and the Soulful Celebration. It's like a concert.
Okay.
Or R&B concert. And our event is actually a little bit different from the other. We're a lot different in the way our event is an outreach. The NFL sanctions it, but Athletes in Action, our ministry, we own it, we operate it, we got to fund it, and we use it to share the gospel with the Super Bowl audience that streams in towns from all around the world. And people come because they're going to get what they're looking for. They're going to see the stars like Mike Singletary, Tony Dungy. On our program this year, we've been also included John Lynch, GM for the Niners, Andrew Luck, GM for Stanford. Condoleezza Rice has confirmed to be on our program.
She's not connected with the NFL, though, right? Well, wait, okay, tell me the story.
Sports. Okay. Just saying that. I have so much respect.
She didn't play in this.
I meant to say she loves sports.
Okay.
She was the first female, I think, to be a member at Augusta. And she's part owner of the Denver Broncos, right?
Okay, I didn't know that. Wow, that's really cool. My friend worked with her at Stanford. Oh, what an amazing woman. She was the first African-American woman in the cabinet, right?
Yeah.
Under Bush. Yeah. I think because her politics are conservative, she wasn't celebrated as much, but she was an incredible, pioneer.
Yeah, we are so blessed to have her share her story on her faith journey.
Okay.
Does
she's a follower of Jesus also?
Oh, you know that? Hey, so you're in for a treat. She does chapel services for the football team that come to town, or Stanford. So anyway, yeah, she'll be on, and I'll be adding more and more names to the program. The Mannings have been multiple times. Troy Vincent, Derek Brooks, Ward Dunn, Anthony Munoz, Kirk Cousins won the 5-star award. Yeah, the centerpiece of our breakfast, by the way, is the presentation of the Bart Starr Award.
Okay.
And that award goes to a current NFL player who has demonstrated character, leadership, and integrity on and off the field in his own first, then in the community and on his team. So, and the really neat thing about that award, Ted, is all the players across the league vote on who they believe should win that Bart Starr Award. And we take that ballot. The NFL actually digitized it and sends it out. And we take the top 10 names, and the top 3 are finalists, and the winner is chosen from those top 3 finalists for the award. So and Tony Dungy is the one who presents that award. Since Bart passed away, Tony's stepped in and does a great job of just honoring this person for his character. Now, after the program goes on, then the award celebration or ceremony takes place, and then afterwards we have someone share the gospel. So there's a way to share the love of Christ with people.
Don't you have an outreach to youth too? So tell me about that, right?
Yeah, so I've been the program coordinator for the breakfast for 20, 21, 22 years maybe. But just 3 years ago, I became the actual director of the whole breakfast now. And so
you're carrying the weight. You got to raise the So not only you got your own supporters that you got to keep happy so that they pay your bills, but then you're able to run this without, requiring any salary from it.
Yeah.
But you got to carry that weight of beautiful.
It's
Heavy lift, but
it is, and because it's sanctioned by the NFL, we can't have any less quality of production and excellence in what we do than any of the other events. And so that costs money. The production alone is probably $200,000 just for that. It's a great program. Your audience to go to superbowlrecords.com.
Okay.
And if there's a link that is a 3.5-minute highlight reel, they'll love it. It's gonna give them a good glimpse of what takes place. So yeah. So I have to raise those funds every year. That's why I'm in town every month leading up to the breakfast. And but it's worth all the work. It's hard and it's not easy having to beat the bushes, but I'm meeting people like yourself and others who it's great to see how God is using work.
Yeah, I had the privilege of being involved in the All-Star breakfast of the NBA All-Star breakfast. That was such an rewarding experience, and that's kind of the little the little brother to this one. This one's at a whole nother level. But that was a beautiful event, really impactful.
Yeah, it is. That's been going on for quite some time too. And to get a chance to attend the other one during Final Four, we give out the John Wooden Keys to Life Award during the Final Four every year. It's another breakfast to do.
Well, these things have come into my neck of the woods in the Bay Area. I don't know if the Final Four is going to be in the Bay Area.
He's going to be in Indy next year. I can't remember.
Oh, that'd be fun.
Yeah.
Okay, but tell about your. You were mentioning that you use this to reach out to schools and to use.
Yeah. So the Horizon. So I added a level called the Horizon sponsorship, and that was really my way of inviting local nonprofits to bring their kids from underserved communities who would never get a chance to experience something like this. So they get to dress up, they come to the breakfast, we love on those kids, and afterwards we've created a Horizons reception.
What ages of the kids?
Middle school and high school.
Middle school and high school.
Boys and girls. And we already have nonprofits signing up, and I've identified 4 different STEM type activations. So during the reception after the breakfast, the kids will hang out, visit the different STEM activations, take pictures, get autographs as players. Just treat them to a really fun time. They'll get a swag bag with lots of nice merch, just to help the kids kind of.
So if a nonprofit, because I have a lot of friends I'm thinking of, so this, something like that can be so powerful. I have a friend of mine who I'm going to tell about this, Albert Wright. He was outstanding outlier like yourself, only he wasn't into sports. He's a scientist. He was working for Lamb Research, so he's like a micro, inventing. They're the leader in microscopes, basically. And he's a social entrepreneur. He launched this thing called CUBU, and they would bring, minority youth who he was mentoring. They're from, the ghetto or whatever, and he'd take them to Lamb and to Tesla and to other places like that, where they could see people who looked like them who were succeeding in a field, and it just captures their imagination and it's transformative. It's, see you, be you. They have to see you before they can be you. And one of these things that these young person said is just this off the hand comment. This young African-American in high school, he comes and he's like, wow, I didn't know we were allowed to do that. It's like, and, just changes their trajectory. So one day they come to this one moment and an experience like many of these kids have never dressed up, never had a sit down, serve you breakfast like that, much less be poured into by these mentors and say, if you do this, you can go this directory, you can have this trajectory, and it's beautiful. Yeah. So what does a nonprofit need to participate in this?
Well, they need to work with kids. They need to just contact. We probably don't have very many spots. You got to move fast. You got to move. He's got to move quick.
Okay.
I'm working with a local events company called Sisters Keepers.
Okay.
So they're running point for me on the Horizons reception. So they're identifying the local nonprofits. They help identify all the STEM companies. And so they'll be taking names, reviewing the application.
STEM companies. So these are.
Yeah. So we'll have a robotics activation. We'll have someone a company that's.
So you're bringing in the youth. So certain nonprofits are bringing in the youth, and then other organizations will be bringing in the STEM or, okay. He runs a robot. He's running a robotics lab, and he's working at Maranatha Christian Fellowship in downtown San Jose. They have amazing outreaches. Yeah. Okay. So he has to move fast. He has to move fast, and he reaches out. Do I connect him with you?
He's connecting with me, and I'm meeting with Neptali is her name. She's the founder of Sisters Keeper. Meeting with her on Friday and could find out where we are in terms of how many nonprofits we have, sending kids. Do we have any space to add more? So I'll know on Friday if we have space to add more kids.
Of course, if you have a sponsor who's watching this and they want to add more kids, they get sponsored, then we can get more.
Well, no. So I've only donated 12 tables. There's a cutoff. So there's 12 of fat tables.
All right, Albert, you're getting this before everyone. Okay, if you're watching this, you're already behind. Reach out now.
Oh, we got to move fast, but people can still sponsor, right? I've committed to raising the sponsorships for those local nonprofits. So someone, let's say
you've committed to 12 tables.
I've committed to donating 12 tables.
So,
but I might come to you. You're an example. You're a corporation. I might say, Ted, we got these 120 kids that we want to treat to this experience. Will you sponsor 10 of those kids to come and have this experience?
Okay.
That's the Horizon sponsorship loan that we have.
Okay.
For the breakfast.
But at 100
on that works.
You have 12 tables, so 120 kids, and you just can't fit any more in there.
Yeah. So at each table, there'll be 8 kids and 2 chaperones. Okay. So you would actually sponsor 8 kids and 2 chaperones per sponsorship. So you did a sponsor 1 table, 2 tables, 3, or all 12 that you want to cover all the kids and their chaperones, right? So that's it's on our website, so we can read all about that.
Sweet. All right.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, we'll see what we can do. That sounds really exciting.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. One of the reasons that really is hit me years ago when Michael Vick came out of prison, and Tony Dungy, I don't know if you remember, Tony Dungy was kind of mentoring him during that whole time.
Yeah, Michael Vick was, NFL legend.
Oh, NFL legend. Dogfighting, got in trouble with prison. And Tony Dungy came alongside of him, and they met, and then Tony walked him through that season of his life. Okay. So we had them on the.
Remind me of that story. I followed it. Did he get back in the NFL?
Yeah. He came back. Did he get a comeback award? Oh, it was amazing. Came back and played really, really well. Now he's coaching, head football coach at HBCU, so we're in Florida, and great guy. I've heard great things about him. Under the radar, kind of quiet, but anyway.
Invited him. Is he going to come to the breakfast?
Not this year. Because this year, he's probably coaching anyway. But we had him back. So we had him on our breakfast when he was living in Florida at that time. Okay. So breakfast was in Miami. And so we had him and Coach Dungy on the stage. Chris Mortensen from ESPN. Chris passed away, miss him. He's a great, great man of God. Chris was interviewing Michael Vick and Tony and asked them to share their story. What was that all about? And Tony asked Michael, he said, tell me, when we met in prison, remember what you told me when I asked you, where was God in all this in your life? And Michael said, yeah, I remember telling you, Coach Dungy, that when I got to the NFL, I got all this money, I got all this fame, I had all this success. I didn't think I needed God anymore. And that was the beginning of my life going downhill. And so I'm on the head table looking out over the audience, and I'm watching this interview and talk about just golden content, just an unbelievable moments, inspirational, encouraging, just real, authentic. And I'm looking out over the audience, and there are no kids in the room. No brown kids, no black kids. And I'm like, we can't. Our kids are missing this. And so that's one of the reasons why I started the Horizon sponsored Betty Lover for the breakfast 3 years ago. We got to make sure that those kids are.
So you have 12 tables. How many tables are in the whole place? You have 10 tables.
Or 12 tables.
12 tables for the Horizons. Yeah. It's almost a tie, almost 10%. That's sweet. I love that. Okay, here's what I want to close with. Okay, I love this work you're doing. I see it's what my dream is. You see glimpses like this. I mean, it's innovation. You innovate. If you have this amazing breakfast and then you're like, we're not touching the kids. Let's do something that touches the kids. Okay. My big dream is like, we look at events like this, but then if we zoom out, like what we started with, we've in the last, since whatever, Silicon Valley, we've created unprecedented wealth. The world has never seen this amount of wealth, but yet we're still haven't figured out how to care for those right next to us. We've created wealth and even like missions. Like I love the fact that you're a missionary, you're domestic, you're here. Like we have been in the most amazing mission sending nation ever. And we've had huge impact overseas. But how come if we zoom out, we have these amazing stories, but it seems like society is still, we haven't changed the trajectory. But rather than seeing that as inevitable, I believe that's our challenge and we can act upon it. And I believe we can leverage these things. We can leverage the NFL. We can leverage the NBA. We can get, we have the formula. Like you have the microcosm. We've seen it, that we can change the trajectory. I want to do that so that we model it in a city. Like, can we all come together and start, maybe we adopt one city, one ghetto, and we change the trajectory over 5, 10 years, 15 years. And now that's a model. And then we rally the rest of the world, and we replicate that model. Those are my dreams.
Yeah.
But I want to end with here. You're projecting forward. You're in the prime of your life. Super handsome. You got everything going for you.
Appreciate that, bro.
How you're in your 50s, right?
I'm in my 50s, but my body feels like it's in its 70s. Even though I had a very short career, my body is the body of a 7-year-old, 75.
Well, that's a whole nother story.
Doing a lot better than a lot of my peers. So.
You're doing a lot better than a lot of your peers. I love the fact that they're becoming more aware of it. Like one of the things that broke my heart is when I heard that, let's see, currently the average salary in the NFL is $1 million around that? No, the average is much higher. I'm saying the minimum. What's the minimum right now? Probably around that?
Not anything I've ever.
Okay, so anyways, these guys are making a lot more than they're definitely they're probably very high end upper middle class.
Yeah.
Okay. But it's only 3 years. Takes a huge toll on your body. There's a reason, the NFL will play, the NBA plays 86 games, NFL 1 game a week. Yeah. You need the other 6 days to recover from that. Okay.
Heal.
But then I heard that the valet industry and security industry in Las Vegas is owned by basically former NFL players. And that broke my heart. That these, that former NFL players, so many of them are parking cars in Vegas. We got to do better.
You say, oh, you mean working. Gotcha.
Working, yeah. That the average person in the NFL gets out after 3 years and they're not.
Well, most of them were, I was in thankful I knew the Lord, thankful I had good family support, but most of these guys, when their career is done, that's all they throw away with their identity. They haven't realized that their identity is much bigger than, throwing a ball or running in the end zones. Then they're lost. You go to depression, that's very common. Years ago, I don't know what the stats are now, but when I was chaplain, years ago, the stats were within 2 years of leaving the game, 80% of all NFL players were divorced, bankrupt, unemployed. It's heartbreaking, man, within 2 years. And so, I don't know what the stats are today, but I would be surprised if they were.
What if the NFL started focusing on that and say, we're going to completely turn that around?
There are programs, the NFL, they do a lot to provide opportunities for guys to, job fairs, mental health counseling, they have a lot of places and spaces and events and people that players just have to have the motivation to take advantage of. I talk to guys and I'm like, have we called NFL Trust? Have you? And sometimes I hear back, yeah, no. I'm like, they're offering. You guys got to take advantage of it. They can't make you.
But if we could twist this, see, to me, this is an opportunity, because here is a big challenge right underneath their noses. This is my challenge to the NFL, to embrace this as an opportunity. And I think, start right there. Take it. It's almost like the Bible says, charity starts in your house. Start in your own house and say, okay, I'm sure the stats have changed, because I know things are turning around, but where's it at? It was 80% back then, maybe a decade ago or so. Okay. So that's
it's actually early 2000.
Okay. So 2 decades ago, it was at 80. Where is it at now? Is it broken to 50%? Is it whatever? There's still this major need right underneath their noses. Okay. What if they pour into that and say, no, zero tolerance, man. We are going to set these kids up the same way that it's my vested interest. I'm going to sign a contract that's going to be a win for you. Okay. Even if you're only in for 14 months, it's going to be a win for you. It's going to be a win for us. And we're going to embed right from the beginning that we're going to help you re-enter. What's in it for them? You've traveled internationally, right? It wasn't until I went to Europe that I understood that we do not understand fan loyalty. When you go to Europe, the club system and the fan loyalty is at a whole nother level. And the dedication that they have to, the NFL could build a whole nother dimension of fan loyalty. And if the NFL is known as the ones that they take care of their own, and they not only take care of their own, but they go through them to transform their communities, and so you're going into a community and it's not just, here's this beautiful NFL field at a school. What if where that NFL went and put their handprint, oh, this is an NFL school. They bless this, and it changed the trajectory of that school, and it changed the trajectory of that neighborhood. Those are the things I'm dreaming of. But okay, those are
like you could send your application to NFL headquarters in New York, bro.
How do we do that? Maybe we need to do that. Okay, here's what I wanted to end with this. Okay, thank you so much for your time. I really, really appreciate this. What are your dreams?
Okay. Oh, good.
Okay, you're in your 50s. You're entering into your most productive season of life. You're going to have the next 2.5 decades more of productivity. And it's going to be more productive than the rest of your private previous career combined.
That's my dream, to be the most productive, have the most impact for the kingdom of the Lord in these next 20 years, and I've had in mind.
So Seth, so I have you back here. You see 20 years from now, I'm 75. You're what?
77.
You're 77. Okay. And we're talking, what do we want to be talking about? What do you want to see? What's the situation you wanted to create?
Ted, honestly, that's a difficult question for me because I just want to be faithful to do. When I look back, I want to be able to say, Corwin, you were faithful to do what God told you to do, one step at a time, one day at a time. And however God wants to use that, whatever comes of that, it was His will. And I wanted to say, I was faithful. I listened to the Lord. I took the risks He told me to take. I stepped out in faith there. I showed self-control here. I served as He, I was able to say that and feel good about, that's how God uses it. Whatever the results are, it is up to Him.
It's good. That's beautiful. That works. Faithfulness. Yeah. Be faithful. All right. Well, thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining me. This really inspired me, and I look forward to walking together with you. So glad I met you. So thank you for your time, and thank you for joining us. Thank you for your time.